Episode 304. In the game, Cold River at Night had been watching the match too. With Vice-Captain Zhang Xinji backing him up, he still lost Cold River at Night, never saw that coming. All the materials he'd painstakingly stockpiled for so long were just swept away by Lord Grimm. He was even more heartbroken than Zhang Yu. But soon he learned from Zhang Yu that Zhang Xinji was planning to bring the pro team back. After the initial shock, his confidence surged back to 100%. The only catch was, he still had to hustle to gather the materials for the new wager. Night Tide Cold Pool sent people to the market while directing his elites to grind dungeons. With their pro team now involved, they immediately lost all enthusiasm for the time-consuming, energy-draining tactics of chasing and ambushing in the game. However, their cooperation had always been a disorganized mess, so when tyrannical ambition started slacking off, it wasn't immediately noticed. The other guilds remained fixated. The moment they spotted Lord Grimm and his small party, they immediately shouted to move out. Ye Shu and Su Mucheng's characters were in a border town. After leaving the arena, they kept a sharp lookout and weren't spotted. Steamed Bun Invasion, however, was in the metropolis of Kongji City. The moment he stepped out, countless eyes were already on him. By the time he reached the city gate, countless player perspectives were locked on him. Steamed Bun Invasion was like a star in the spotlight. The moment he stepped out the city gate, many players already had their weapons at the ready.
A little further out, just a little further out.
Everyone thought to themselves, Steamed Bun Invasion was still dangerously close to the main city's safe zone. A single tumble could send him right back in. Instead, Steamed Bun Invasion stepped out just one body length, swaggering as he paced left and right a couple of steps and laughed loudly.
Ha ha ha. You think I'd fall for that, you scrubs?
With that, Bowsy headed back into the city. Everyone gritted their teeth in frustration. But what could they do about it? With too few men, he can't block them. With too many, it's like this. Even a blind man could see something's wrong.
Boss, what's the plan? We can't get out.
Steamed Bun Invasion was all bluster in public, but in private, he immediately called Ye Shu for help. It was only because Ye Shu had told him to watch out that he'd noticed so much in the first place. Otherwise, with Bowsy's naivete, he'd never have spotted all those shady characters lurking both inside and outside the city.
We're here to extract you. When the chaos starts, slip out through the crowd.
Got it.
So Bowsy calmly set up a little stall by the city gate. Dungeons were run daily, while boss drops like purple or orange gear were a matter of chance. Blue gear was a guaranteed drop every time. Our party always does loot by need. If nobody wants it, then it's finders keepers. Steamed Bun Invasion had picked up a few things and was now selling them at his stall. He'd named it Produced by the Universe's Most Harmonious Team. Guild players inside and outside the city ground their teeth in fury. But there he stood, unshakable and chatting casually with the vendor players beside him. The more they watched, the angrier they became. Ye Shu and Su Mucheng made their way from the border town to the gates of Kongji City. Without a word, they launched their rescue mission for Steamed Bun. Ye Shu's unspecialized character switched to launcher mode. The moment he and Su Mucheng's windward formation appeared, they began blasting the foes outside the city gates with anti-tank missiles, one after another.
Lord Grimm.
A few sharp-eyed players spotted it, but the shells were already flying. Amidst the smoke, the players scrambled to return fire. Launchers with the range quickly shouldered their cannons and opened up. But how could such attacks possibly trouble Ye Shu and Su Mucheng? They didn't close in, instead maintaining their distance and laying down suppressing fire from the perimeter. The guild's ranged attackers returned fire, while their melee fighters fanned out, trying to encircle them. The area outside the city gates has always been a hotspot for PK. In the arena, wins and losses are just data and points, no experience penalty. So, if you've got a grudge to settle, you don't go to the arena. You just meet outside the city gates, duke it out for 300 rounds, and if you die, you respawn in the city and come right back for more. It's nice and close. When things got busy, you could find several duels happening outside the city gates at the same time. At that moment, there was a pair of players having a one-on-one duel to settle a score, which had also drawn a crowd. But compared to the spectacle Ye Shu and Su Mucheng were putting on, their little showdown was just too small-timed. Here, two players were launching an attack against over 100, and with a celebrity like Lord Grimm involved, the spectacle instantly drew the crowd. In the end, the two rivals lost interest in their own duel, agreeing to watch the show first and settle their score later. This spectacle was precisely the opportunity Ye Shu had created for steamed bun invasion. Word of the commotion had already spread, drawing a swarm of players into the city to see the show. Steamed bun invasion got Yehu's message, spotted his chance, and even egged on the two guys next to him. The three of them rolled up their stall and melted into the crowd. It wasn't that nobody was watching steamed bun invasion, but Glory is a first-person perspective game. You can't look down from above. At this eye-level view, the character IDs above their heads just blend into a chaotic, multicolored mess, making it impossible to tell who's who. The players watching steamed bun invasion saw him, and the two behind him suddenly pack up their stall and stand up, then merge into the crowd, and then, well, which one was steamed bun invasion, and which one was dumpling defense? They couldn't tell at all. The players on the tail were chasing the crowd, their cursors frantically sweeping through the mass of avatars. Oh, how they missed it. They missed the good old days of many classic MMOs, like World of Warcraft. Those games had a marking feature. You could just slap a marker on a character. Even if he was lost in the densest crowd, a marker hovering over his head would always stand out, making him instantly recognizable. But in Glory, with its fixed perspective and difficulty in pinpointing targets, there's no such marking function. At this very moment, a curse was upon the designers of Glory. Steamed bun invasion moved with the crowd, pushing his way out while scanning left and right, hoping to spot some guy with a particularly annoying name he could grab and beat the crap out of. But there was none. Lost in the chaotic crowd, steamed bun invasion couldn't get his bearings. He stopped looking around wildly and focused on pushing forward. Finally, steamed bun spotted Lord Grim and Windward formation up ahead, taunting the guild players from a distance. The two were standing back to back, firing in all directions. The guild players had split into two groups, flanking them from the left and right, pinning them down. Now they were closing in.
Boss, you're surrounded.
Steamed bun invasion was ready to strike.
All right, you're out. All right, head off to somewhere empty. We're out of here.